Welcome to the I Am Different series. If you've been around our program long enough, you notice that there's something different. I Am Third is not the world's way of doing things. In fact, as college basketball moves towards a me first narrative, we are doubling down on I Am Third. We want to take you behind the scenes and show you some of our former players who are doing big things in our world through I Am Third in the game of basketball. It's God first, others second, yourself third. The unique and cool thing about it is if you have that perspective, it comes back around to benefit you.
Let's have it for the national champ! For the national champ! For the national champ! Unbelievable!
IWUHoops presents The Pursuit. Go inside the locker room as IWUHoops trades the pursuit of me for the pursuit of three.
Welcome to another episode of the Pursuit Podcast. I'm Jeff Clark, the Associate Head Basketball Coach, and I'm joined by Kyle Mangas. He needs no introduction, but four-time All-American, led us to a national title. Kyle, why don't you briefly just give an update about where you're at right now and what your plans are for this upcoming year?
Yeah, it's the middle of the summer right now. Just finished my third year playing professionally. Was 2 years overseas and then was with the Mad Ants last year. Pacers G League team, really enjoyed that. And I just agreed on an Exhibit 10 contract with them again. So most likely we'll be back with these guys right here in downtown. So really looking forward to that.
And it was a blast to have you back around, obviously, with getting to come to your games, but also with Joel and Luke, who we'll be talking with later, working here and just having more connections in a great organization that are really doing things the right way. So what was that experience like for you coming back to Indianapolis and being close to home last year?
Yeah, it was great. Better than anything I could have imagined, to be able to play professionally in Indiana, the state you grow up in. But the best thing I think was just, like you said, seeing so many familiar faces around, whether it was from Warsaw, Indiana, my hometown, or Indiana Wesleyan. Like the team came down to a game one time, the whole team, that was just awesome. So when you get to play in front of family and friends like that, not only gives you a little bit extra juice on the court, but it's just nice just to have that comfort, just looking up there, just recognizing people, talking to them after games, catching up with people you haven't talked to in years. That was probably the best part.
So we're obviously doing this series on what makes Indiana Wesleyan different. And all we're talking with our guys about is just, we want to be different. We want to be set apart from the world. So when you look back, having now experienced basketball all over the world, being an all-star in the G League, having a lot of different experiences, go back to your time at Indiana Wesleyan and just talk, what was unique and different about the place and being part of that program for 4 years? Yeah,
it's crazy to think that now I'm 4 years removed from IWU, but I still can remember those years so clearly. I can confidently say those are my favorite 4 years ever, playing basketball, being a part of a program, being surrounded by a group of brothers. Just the relationships you built, you just I still talk to so many of those guys to this day, daily. That's one way it sticks out to me, and just the biggest way that it's different from what I've been a part of from professional basketball to college is just the way that guys care about each other. Guys really do want to see each other succeed at IWU. I'm not saying it's perfect or anything like that, but if you go to a game, just watch the bench and you can tell by how they cheer for each other and treat each other, talk to each other. Like, you're not getting that in most places. So that's the biggest way it sticks out to me. Professional basketball is a lot different. It's a business, and usually a lot of relationships are transactional. What can you get me? I'll give you this, but what can you get me? And I think IWU is a lot different in that way. Guys just forget about that, and they just dive into the culture, dive into I Am Third. What's my identity about? Just having real conversations. I think you don't get that a lot of other places.
So let's talk a little bit more about the culture, because obviously we use these words, I am third and fearless, and they're great words, but what impact have they made on your life as you've continued and gone to different places to play and to live?
Yeah. So once I left IWU, it definitely wasn't as easy. You go from being surrounded by 15 guys and a group of coaches who care about you and are mentors and you hold you accountable, challenge you, to, you know, basketball in Europe or even here in the States where, you know, you're not getting that, and it's all just basketball, stats, performance, numbers, things like that, and you know, you can really lose yourself in that. I feel like it can bog you down. You can, you know, forget who you are, you know, forget your faith, things like that. So I feel like the impact and just things that I learned at IWU, I was able to carry that and say, okay, now I can try to bring this to other teams and other people by the way I talk to them and treat them, and just say, oh, there's something different about this guy. Just, you can tell where he came from at Indiana Wesleyan. Like, that place did make a huge impact on him. So those are just things I try to think about today.
I'm thinking of a couple conversations we've had, you know, is because we obviously stay in touch with a lot of guys, and we're always talking and following your career. And there's been a few times, whether you're overseas or here in the G League trying to make it in the NBA, where we've had conversations where there's been a frustration or there's been a, hey, it feels like you can't live differently because everybody's going after a similar type thing. And what I've loved about, just as you've processed that, you've always come back to, how do I go elevate people? How do I make other people better? How do I be a great teammate? How do I live God first, others second? And it seems like whenever you've just gone back into your roots with that, your game has gone to another level. So talk about the challenge of that when you go into a different type of culture and environment, but also how that still is the best way and how the I Am Third way has worked in the professional world.
Yeah, that's a great point. A lot of environments in pro basketball are very, very self-oriented. It's, you know, it's about me. And like, it's hard to not fall into that trap sometime. Everyone, no matter if you're a player, a coach, a staff member, like Luke and Joel, like, everyone's trying to go up to another position. Everyone's trying to get a promotion. So, like, in a sense, it is about you a little bit, but like, that's not what we're taught as Christians to think about. It's to forget about ourselves and to focus on other people, to elevate them, and that's when you know, you'll forget about the things I mentioned, like stats and numbers and all those types of things, and just you'll feel free. You'll feel a lot more joy playing basketball, being around it. You'll create a lot better relationships with the people around you. You'll soak up every moment. So yeah.
Going back to Indiana Wesleyan, just the level of experience you had there. Obviously, you now have traveled the world playing. What was unique about the experiences you had that were, you know, maybe higher level than you would consider being at an NAIA school?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, and you see it now today more than ever, that even going to a small school, you can still reach your dreams. Especially a school like Indiana Wesleyan, you just, you know, you have the resources there. You have the people around you to where you can chase your dreams, whether it's being a pro basketball player or something else. That's what I got from my experience from there, and was able to go live in different countries, play basketball, meet so many different people. So that's what you see today. There's Division II players in the NBA. There's so many different routes that you can take now to chase your dreams.
One of the things that's been fun about following your career is, I think, starting from elementary all the way through, whenever you get into a new environment, you're maybe underestimated at first. And then as you go through it and people see who you are as a player and as a person, it was that way last year. I remember talking to your coach saying every week, it's like, oh, this kid's better than we thought. And then all of a sudden you're in the starting lineup, then you're an all-star in the G League. And part of that for us is you're proving the I Am Third way is the way. It's the best way to play the game.
Yeah.
So as you just chase this dream of being in the NBA, what's allowing you to continue to go after that instead of getting sucked into the me first world that seems to be all over basketball?
Yeah, I mean, it's as simply as remembering I am third. Like, if I try to play like every other player plays in the NBA, like we just had a conversation about this a couple months ago during summer league, I'm probably not gonna get very far. There's a lot of other guys who are more talented, more athletic, things like that. But if I can bring a different approach to the game on the court and mentally, you know, where I'm thinking about my teammates, where it's not all about me, like, then that could, you know, that could probably lift me up and help me to reach my goals too. So I think that's the approach that I got to take. It's not always easy, but that's what I try to do.
So let's just say, last question, you meet a pro basketball player this year, and they hear you went to Indiana Wesleyan. They say, what's different about that place? What would you say?
I would say the people. From everyone that I've talked to that's been to a game at Indiana Wesleyan, that's an outsider, or that's watched the game on TV, like, I feel like they really can tell that we care about each other there. That, you know, it's not a business. There's not you know, a lot of jealousy or things like that, but that guys do want to see each other. Guys want to see each other succeed, and I know I mentioned that, but that's the thing that sticks out the most. So I would say.
And I'm even thinking of, you know, the locker room celebrations after, when it's authentically just about like other guys, not just about elevating one person, and remembering some of those times. But man, we're proud of you, and we're following you, but as much for being a pro basketball player, but just going after the IM Third Life. You're recently married, and obviously it was fun to see how many former teammates were there, and now, you know, starting again here with the Pacers. So thanks so much for joining us, and we're all cheering you on, man.
Yeah, thanks for allowing me to be a part of this, and it's cool now to have 3 guys in the Pacers organization, so get to hear from Luke and Joel.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.